Hmm. So, guys, we were discussing about this. Let me just, yeah, recoverable amount thing. So we were on the example, basically where we were keeping this.
Dishu, your presentation is not visible right now.
Is it
Uh, the presentation is not visible.
now?
Uh, not yet updated issue. Now it is visible.
Visible.
Okay.
Okay.
So guys, we were discussing matlab, how to compute this. That fair value less cost to sell we discussed 100 minus 2. I'm just assuming this number. 98 is the value. Now, if that damaged car, I'm planning to just continue with that instead of getting it replaced or getting it repaired. I'm continuing with that car, and I'm expecting that the benefits which will be coming, so the cash flow which will be coming in the future, I'll pull those cash flow to the present level. I was telling that in the IPCC you must have studied about the NPV thing. So those numbers which will be coming in the future, those cash flow which will be coming in the future, will discount those cash flow to the present value. That present value will form part of my value in use. That will be something, the value in use we'll be computing. So that is something कि मैं उस asset को, if I'm using that asset, the future cash flow which I'm expecting, उसका आज की date में valuation कितना आ रहा है, that is my value in use. So these two amounts, that is 98 and the value in use, say for example we are getting 103. So higher of these two will form my recoverable amount. That means 103 is the amount which will be my recoverable amount. Future cash flow कैसे निकालते हैं? It is very again you have to take assumptions and all, Kushi. So there's a management calculation. Management knows what they're expecting in the future, and whenever you are working for any company, you are supposed to give cash flow projections or the revenue projections. Everything you have to give. Those projections, you know, when you are into the business thing, you know, I'm expecting in the next month 10 crores will be the sale. Into, next month 8.5 will be my sales. So those are numbers you are basically having in your mind, and basis your knowledge and basis your experience, you guys compute those numbers. The management computes those numbers. You have to just assess the basically the precision of that judgment. Whether is there anything, say for example, there's a company in COVID. Earlier they were having 50 crores of sale. Now in COVID they are saying we'll be having 70 crores of sale. This is something contradictory to the scenario. Now this is where you have to ask or you have to challenge the client. So client will give you those assessments. You need not to compute those, but you have to basically assess the judgment taken by the client. Correct. So this is the thing how the cash flows are computed. We are not who will be computing those. Management will be computing. We will have to assess the correctness or the genuineness of those things. Correct. So I told 98 or 103, whichever is higher, that will be my recoverable amount. Okay. Those are the things. Obviously, there is always scope for correction. Or so again, you have to assess now. You have to take into, because again there's an indication of the impairment, further impairment. Then again you have to change your assumptions and the cash flow projections and all. So those things get changed. It's not once you recognize it won't be changed. Correct, Rishi? So that is something you have to factor in. Let's move on. So basis this, if any of these is greater than my carrying amount, say for example, my carrying amount was of 105, but my recoverable amount came out to be 103. I'm falling under not under this category, because my recoverable amount, that is my, this was 98, this was 103, whereas my carrying amount is 105. So my carrying amount is greater. That means there will be impairment. Okay, there will be impairment in nature. But in case if my carrying amount is lower, मेरा बैलेंस शीट में वैल्यू ही कम आ रहा है, मेरा रिकवरेबल अमाउंट ज्यादा आ रहा है, मेरा बैलेंस शीट में 100 रुपीज का अमाउंट आ रहा है, माई रिकवरेबल वैल्यू इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ 102, तो मैं क्यों इम्पेयरमेंट करूंगा? देयर इज नो रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर इम्पेयरमेंट, बिकॉज मेरा बैलेंस शीट ठीक दिख रहा है. देयर इज नो इन्फ्लेशन, इन्फ्लेटेड नंबर्स बेसिकली, और देयर इज नो मिस रिप्रेजेंटेशन. वेयर एज मेरा बैलेंस शीट में 100 दिख रहा है, मेरा रिकवरेबल अमाउंट 98 आया. इन दिस केस आई नीड टू रिकॉग्नाइज इम्पेयरमेंट. So that is how we compute impairment. If fair value less cost to sell is impossible to set, we use value in use, because it might happen that asset which you are talking about for the impairment does not have any active market. Say for example, there is something which is built precisely for you. There is no other user of that asset. Any asset you think of which was designed as per your requirement, as per your specifications, and that has no use to others. In that case, obviously you won't be getting fair value, because you won't be having any active market where orderly transaction will be happening from where you can fetch the price. Correct. So you won't be having that case. In that case, value in use is the only thing which you can compute, because you must be knowing future में इससे cash flow कितना आएगा. That you must be knowing. So this is what we cover over here. Okay. Anyone having any query on this slide? Okay, moving further, guys. So this is the recoverable amount, and let's see basically in the upcoming slide as to how this is computed. So this is how the value in use is computed. As Khushi mentioned, like, will this PPT shared among us? Yeah, for sure, no issues. So value in use, as I told, the future cash flow, the benefit which you are expecting in future, you have to discount it to the present level as you do in your NPV calculation. So present value of the future cash flow expected to be derived from an asset and CGU. Let's keep CGU concept in bucket as of now. We are not talking about this. This is something very different. Okay, so whatever future cash flow you're expecting out of the asset, you will pull those cash flow to the present level. How to pull those cash flow? For example, over here, my future cash flow for the next 5 years is this 3,000, 2,800 and all. My discounting factor which I am taking for pulling it back to the present level is 10%, and you guys must be aware of how this PVIF, or the present value discounting factor, is computed. So these numbers are computed, and accordingly you multiply this and you come across to the value in use of 9,031 rupees. This is how the value in use computed. This is one of the very basic example, and this get complicated once you work for a very huge company. We'll show one of the tables with us which we are having as of now for example perspective. Okay, guys. So this is something which you guys are very much competent of, because you all have passed your IPCC and you guys are aware of NPV concept. This is what NPV concept makes use of. Okay. Anyone having any query on this slide? No. Okay. So guys, now we have understood what is my carrying amount, what is my recoverable amount. Correct. Now, what to do with the impairment loss? Say for example, अब मेरे को पता चल गया मेरा carrying amount was of 100, my recoverable amount is of 98. 2 रुपए का मेरे को impairment loss लेना है. Now, how to do accounting for the same? Anyone who had done accounting in past? Any one of you? और किसी को पता है exactly वो कहाँ जाके park होगा? Anyone? No one. Okay, no issues. So हम लोगों ने देखा कैरिंग अमाउंट माइनस रिकवरेबल अमाउंट इज द इम्पेयरमेंट लॉस. करेक्ट, यहाँ तक हम लोग समझ चुके थे. मूविंग फर्दर, हम लोगों ने जब पीपीई पढ़ा था, इन पीपीई देयर आर टू डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज. ओके, यू कैन वैल्यू एसेट ऑन कॉस्ट मॉडल बेसिस और रिवैल्यूएशन मॉडल बेसिस. करेक्ट. So in case of cost model, when there is no revaluation done at the year end or at the reporting period, you keep the asset on the historical cost and you charge of depreciation and reduce this accumulated depreciation from it. Correct. This is what cost model is. So आपने 100 रुपीज का asset खरीदा था, आपने depreciation charge करते रहे, depreciation के net में जो figure आ रहा है आप वही float करते जा रहे हैं balance sheet पर. That is the cost model. In case of cost model, whenever there is an impairment, जब आपका 100 रुपए का asset 98 का recoverable दिखता है, 2 rupees amount you have to charge off to the P&L. Remember the term charge off to the P&L, the profit and loss. So for charging off any loss to the P&L, what would be the entry? Anyone who will be sharing this entry with me? Though it is written on the slide, but I want entry from your side. What will be debited, what will be credited? Please, guys.
So P&L account debit to asset.
Yeah. So this is the entry, P&L debit. Basically, आपने अपना loss recognize किया. Then to credit, you'll be taking asset, that asset basically. So वो asset आपका गिर के 98 पे आ जाएगा और 2 रुपए आपका P&L में charge हो जाएगा. Correct. This is how you do the accounting in cost model. Then moving on to the revaluation model, it is little tricky for those who have not seen a revaluation model as of now. I'm not pretty sure what's the like how many of you are aware of this revaluation thing and
सर एक सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, बस सर एक डाउट है इसके. आपने कॉस्ट मॉडल में क्रेडिट लिखा है, बट सर आपने इसकी पिछली स्लाइड पे बताया था अगर इफ इन केस रिकवरेबल अमाउंट इज ग्रेटर देन आवर कैरिंग अमाउंट देन नो इम्पेयरमेंट. तो क्रेडिट कैसे आया सर?
इम्पेयरमेंट होगा नहीं उस केस में, तो उस केस में तो एंट्री आएगा ही नहीं ना. देयर इज नो रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर एंट्री ना. व्हेन यू आर नॉट डूइंग एनी चेंज टू योर कैरिंग अमाउंट, देयर वोंट बी एनी क्वेश्चन ऑफ एंट्री.
तो सर एक बार कॉस्ट मॉडल में क्रेडिट अच्छा एंट्री लिखी है आपने. ठीक है
ठीक है
सर, ठीक है.
OCI thing I'm not pretty sure कितने लोग अभी तक aware हैं. I'm not pretty sure. So should I cover this or can we skip this, because it is little complicated and you guys must be having questions then. Just have a quick poll basically. Do you guys want me to cover this or basically skip as of now? At least say yes or no. In the chat box also it will work. Guys, please. Accordingly, I'll move to the annual report aspect, the practical aspect. As of now, I am talking. Yes, sir, please cover your wish. It is something, okay, let's take it. So revaluation thing is something, say for example, 100 रुपी का आपका asset था, at the year end when you compared it, it came out to be 102. तो revaluation आप upward revaluation कर लेते हो, balance sheet में आपका जो asset है वो 102 के level पे चला जाता है, whereas cost model में वो 100 minus accumulated debt के हिसाब से चलता रहेगा. So in revaluation, every time you revalue that asset to the fair value, okay? तो जब आप फेयर वैल्यू को लेके जाते हो, मान लो 100 के एसेट को आपने 102 किया, द डिफरेंशियल अमाउंट इज चार्ज टू इज taken to PN OCI, not to the PNL. So there are two components in India's financials, in India's PNL profit statement of profit and loss. There are two components. First is your PNL part. The second one is the OCI, that is other comprehensive income. Okay. So 100 minus 102 का जो element है, that is taken to the OCI. Correct. This is part in OCI. This forms part of your reserves, which is there. The revaluation reserve will be there in your books of accounts. So now what's happening? अब वो ऐसे decrease हो रहा है, उसका value decrease हो रहा है. Now you want to बेसिकली इम्पेयर दैट एसेट. तो स्टैंडर्ड सेज कि आपका जो 2 रुपए का रिजर्व विच यू हैव अर्लियर रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एंड दैट बेनिफिट विच यू हैव पार्क्ड इन योर रिजर्व, फर्स्ट ऑफसेट दैट अमाउंट दैट इज योर. अगर आपका इम्पेयरमेंट 4 रुपए का है, फर्स्ट यू डेबिट दैट रिजर्व बाय 2 रुपीज. ओके, पहले आप उस रिजर्व जो बेनिफिट आपने पास्ट में रिकॉग्नाइज किया था, फर्स्ट एलिमेंट उस एलिमेंट को आप डिलीट कीजिए. तो 2 रुपीज विल बी ऑफसेटेड टू revaluation surplus. That is what mentioned over here. And the remaining part which is there, I said 4 rupees का अगर मेरा impairment था, 2 रुपए मेरा reserve में park था, 2 रुपए I debited to the reserve, remaining 2 rupees I'll take to the P&L as similar to this. Correct. So this is the concept. For this I must be having the OCI this revaluation reserve which are recognized in the past. So this is the requirement. Otherwise simple entry will be there, P&L debit to asset. That is what the entry is. Okay. So this is little complicated. As of now, I'm not getting into the depth. It is something which we can discuss in the upcoming sessions. But as of now, just to have a overview, it is something जब आपने asset को 100 से 102 पे लेके गए, तो 2 रुपए आपने OCI में जाके पार्क किया, which was forming part of the revaluation reserves, and that revaluation reserve first have to eliminate it. Then you can move on to the P&L chart. Correct. This is what the thing is. Then the other highlighting point is adjust the depreciation for future periods to the new carrying amount. अब हुआ क्या, आपने जब 100 रुपीज के सेट को 98 पे पुल करके लेके आ गए थे आप टू योर रिकवरल अमाउंट, नाउ दैट रिकवरल अमाउंट जैसे आपके बैलेंस शीट में फ्लोट किया, वो आपका कैरिंग अमाउंट हो जाता है. करेक्ट ना. एनी अमाउंट विच इज फ्लोइंग टू माय बैलेंस शीट, दैट इज कैरिंग अमाउंट. सो जैसे ही मैंने अपने एसेट को 100 से 98 पे लिया, दैट 98 इज नाउ माय कैरिंग अमाउंट. तो स्टैंडर्ड सेज कि फ्यूचर का जो डिप्रिसिएशन है आप उसको अकॉर्डिंगली मैनेज कर लीजिए. अकॉर्डिंगली मैनेज कर लीजिए मतलब earlier you were supposed to recognize depreciation on the basis of 100 rupees. Now your depreciation will get lowered down because your asset is reflecting at 98 and that 98 has to be charged off over the remaining useful life. Correct. So your depreciation you have to adjust, you have to lower it down to the level of 98 accordingly. Okay guys, any doubt on this slide? No doubt. From retrospective period, no, never. Retrospective कैसे करोगे रोहित? फ्यूचर का देख रहे हो ना, बिकॉज आज आपका बैलेंस शीट में वो 98 रुपीज का हुआ. करेक्ट. सो आप रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव नहीं करोगे, आप फ्यूचर में जो प्रोस्पेक्टिव कैलकुलेशन होगा, जहां मेरा डेप्रिसिएशन अगर 2-2 रुपए का चार्ज होना था, वो शायद 1.98 का चार्ज होगा बिकॉज माय एसेट वैल्यू हैज डिक्लाइन. करेक्ट. गॉट द पॉइंट. ओके. Anyone having any query on this slide, or else I'll move and we'll get into the annual report of HUL. Okay guys, moving on. This CGU thing we'll cover on in the next session because this is something altogether a different topic in impairment only. But अभी तक जो discussion हुआ था, that was on account of individual assets. Just मैं classify कर देता हूँ. That was on account of individual assets. Whereas यहाँ पे जब बात होता है cash generating unit का, it is a club of assets. Clubbing of different assets जो एक CGU बनाते हैं, it is a group of assets. Just आज मैं सिर्फ आपको एक example share कर देता हूँ. डिस्कशन हम लोग फ्यूचर में कर लेंगे इसके रिगार्डिंग. ओके. सो से फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने आपको बोला था दैट यू हैव टू कंप्यूट योर वैल्यू इन यूज फॉर द एसेट. करेक्ट. टू कंप्यूट द रिकवरल अमाउंट. नाउ द पॉइंट इज व्हाट इफ दैट एसेट इज नॉट जनरेटिंग कैश ऑल टू इन इंडिपेंडेंट कैपेसिटी. उस एसेट का कोई ऐसा नेचर ही नहीं है कि वो मेरे को कैश जनरेट करके दे. थिंक ऑफ डोमिनोज. करेक्ट. अब डोमिनोज जो एक आउटलेट देखते हैं आप, इन डोमिनोज देयर आर चेयर्स, टेबल्स एंड ऑल. क्या वो चेयर टेबल्स अगर सिर्फ मैं उनको उनका इम्पेयरमेंट देखना चाहूंगा, इज इट करेक्ट और रॉन्ग? बेसिकली एनीवन हैविंग एनी व्यू, क्या मैं उसका फ्यूचर कैश फ्लो जनरेशन निकाल पाऊंगा उन चेयर्स और उन टेबल्स का? विल आई बी एबल टू कंप्यूट द वैल्यू इन यूज ऑफ दोज इंडिपेंडेंटली? क्या वो असेट्स इंडिपेंडेंट कैपेसिटी, वो टेबल चेयर इंडिपेंडेंट कैपेसिटी में कैश फ्लो जनरेट कर पाएगा वैल्यू इन यूज में? क्या डू यू थिंक?
नो सर, उसमें तो खाली माय ओपिनियन फेयर वैल्यू यूज हो सकता है।
फेयर वैल्यू लेस कॉस्ट टू सेल तो रहेगा डेफिनेटली, बट मैं वैल्यू इन यूज कंप्यूट नहीं कर सकता उस असेट में, करेक्ट ना? बिकॉज वो टेयर टेबल में अगर सिर्फ रख दूंगा, मेरे यहाँ कोई आएगा नहीं खाने के लिए, मेरे को पूरा सेटअप रखना पड़ेगा डोमिनोज का, तब जाके मेरे यहाँ पे लोग खाने आएंगे, देन आई विल बी गेटिंग बेनिफिट आउट ऑफ इट, करेक्ट? सो दैट होल आउटलेट एज अ होल कॉल्ड CGU, कैश जनरेटिंग यूनिट, ओके? बिकॉज वो जो आउटलेट है पूरा, जब आप उसको टोटलिटी में देखेंगे तभी वो कैश जनरेट कर सकता है। वो सिर्फ टेबल चेयर रखने से कैश जनरेट नहीं कर पाएगा। दैट टेबल चेयर हैज नो कैपेसिटी टू जनरेट कैश इन द फ्यूचर, करेक्ट? सो दैट इज वाई whenever we see impairment, आप प्रेफरेबल होता है अगर आप इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे निकाल सकते हो, इट्स ग्रेट, बट एट टाइम्स इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल, डेफिनेटली नॉट पॉसिबल। बिकॉज फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं कंपनी का भी बात करता हूँ, देर आर मल्टीपल एसेट्स इन्वॉल्व, और हर एसेट कैश जनरेट नहीं करता है। वो जब तक दूसरे एसेट के साथ एसोसिएट नहीं होता, इट कांट जनरेट कैश, करेक्ट? सो दैट इज वाई वी हैव टू सी द impairment thing as a whole, at the level of whole, ठीक है, not at the independent level. So we'll be discussing this concept in future in depth. As of now, I'm skipping it for the taking you guys to the practical aspect, which we missed in the previous session. Okay. So guys, I'll be discussing this. As of now, definition perspective से या idea perspective से किसी को कोई doubt है, you can ask me, or else we can move ahead. Did you get the point? Why exactly this CGU is coming into the picture? The concept is same for CGU also, carrying amount, recoverable amount and all. There's nothing. Goodwill thing we'll discuss. Let's keep it as of now. So from PPT perspective, I'm done for the day. Okay. Now I'm taking you guys to the annual report of one of the very reputed company, that is HUL. Most of you must be aware of it. We'll be covering these slides in later sessions basically. Anyone having any question till now before getting into the annual report? Anyone in doubt? No doubts. Okay, great. Okay, guys, let's dive into the practicality, which is the intent of this group. Correct. So now impairment thing, as Khushi mentioned, कि हम cash flow कैसे निकालेंगे? Those cash flow might be wrong. Those are the things. Those are very risky things. Correct. And there is, as I told you, there's whole lot of judgment involved. So how many of you are aware of one of the auditing standard on key audit matter paragraph? Anyone can quote the number of that standard? Can anyone quote the number of that standard?
SS701.
Okay, okay. Can you elaborate a bit about it? कि वो कहता क्या? What exactly it talks about? What was the need exactly? मतलब अभी recently आया 2 साल पहले, I believe. Why it was not there in the past, and why it came just now in the auditing aspect thing?
तो इसका आइडिया नहीं है इतना।
Okay. So basically, देखो, key audit matter paragraph. Earlier also, the auditor used to issue reports, correct? But those reports were not that much meaningful to the investors. Investors or the stakeholders wanted something more, something they wanted to know. Hey, auditor, please tell me what are the significant areas from your perspective which I should be aware of. Okay, please tell me those aspects, because the whole financial is something I can't understand. Being a normal layman, I can't understand the whole of the financials. I want what are the significant area where mistakes or misrepresentation could happen. Please elaborate those things. Correct. So accordingly, I'll take you guys to page number 59 of the annual report of this HUL. Are you guys able to see my screen of annual report basically? Guys, are you all able to see? Hello? Hello?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I was talking about is this. Look at this paragraph. This is the auditor's report of HUL, which KPMG they have issued this. So there's a CAM on impairment assessment of food refreshment cash generating unit. Cash generating unit, as I told, is a club of assets. Okay. So they have mentioned this in the CAM. So now think of how crucial it is. It is very, very much crucial for any entity, because or any auditor also, this is very significant because multiple judgments are involved and whole lot of things comes into the picture. Okay, so what happens is, read this para altogether. Take a minute and read this para. You will guys will get to know how risky it is and what exactly and how exactly why exactly they are mentioning this para over here. What was the requirement? Please read this too. Take a minute and then we'll discuss. Let me know once you are like open for the discussion on this thing. Can we discuss this, guys? This para only. Ishant, Khushi, Ritek, can we discuss it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So guys, देखो, key audit matter para. They are mentioning this into your key audit matter thing. Basically, from the auditor's perspective, this is one of the significant area. Why so? As disclosed in the note number 4, we'll see it later on. Okay, the FR CGU includes, FR is food and refreshment. This is one of their business. As an auditor, हमें क्या चेक करते हैं impairment में? We'll see. वो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. That is why I'm sharing this. Okay. So they are saying FAR-CGU includes 17,000 crores of goodwill and 27,000 crores of indefinite life intangible assets. These two terms you are familiar now, correct? आपको दोनों categories का पता है, goodwill also and intangible assets having indefinite useful life, those also. So they are saying this CGU is having these two elements, and as I told you that goodwill and intangible assets having indefinite useful life needs to be checked for impairment on annual basis, even though there is no indication. Correct. That is why they are doing this thing. We'll see why they are doing this thing. Intangible assets having a. Okay, I'll tell you. So as of now, let's discuss this. So as we discussed, on annual basis, at least you have to check this. So they are saying this is the composition of the whole CGU. Out of total CGU cost, 65% is the is represented by goodwill and intangible assets. Okay, they must have acquired some businesses and all. जहाँ से ये आया था, ठीक? So they are saying out of that, 65% is the representative of these two elements. The recoverable amount of the FRCGU, which is based on value in use model, which you guys are familiar, how to compute it, cash flow लो, उसको pull करो to the present value, and you're available with the value in use model. So they are saying the recoverable amount is computed using the value in use model and has been derived from the discounted forecast cash model, which we discussed. Future का cash flow लो, उसको discount करो, आज की date पे value निकालो. यहाँ तक clear है sir? This model requires the company to make significant assumptions such as discount rate. We discussed about 10% discount rate. उसका basis क्या है? It is totally judgmental. मैं 9% ले सकता हूँ. मैं जैसे उसको 9% लूँगा, it will the present value will get high, will be higher. Correct? जैसे ही मैं denominator को lower करता जाऊँगा, being a company I want कि मैं lower करता जाऊँ, because मेरा recoverable amount higher आता जाएगा, मेरे को impairment कुछ recognize नहीं करना पड़ेगा. Correct? This is my intention. तो that is why they are saying कि ये एक significant assumption है आपका. Next is long term near and long term revenue growth. As खुशी asked कि cash flow निकलता कैसे? I said कि cash flows में basically companies बैठती हैं, they have a projection with them कि they are expecting first year 100 crore का sale होगा, after that 5 year growth होगा, उसके बाद 5 year growth होगा. So they are saying कि ये जो growth rate भी होता है ना, that is also very judgmental and very basically I would say significant assumption, because आप क्या कर रहे हो, you don't know future, you can't predict future, correct? You can only predict, you can't basically 100% with 100% certainty you can't say that 5% will be the growth, but the company says no, we are expecting 5% growth. Okay, so that is what they are saying कि near term as well as long term revenue. तो अगले 5 साल का तब भी मैं फोरकास्ट कर सकता हूँ. इट इज समथिंग विच इज इन हैंड्स ऑफ द कंपनी, बिकॉज दे हैव फोर साइटेड पीपल्स जो उनके पास होते हैं, दे हैव द पोटेंशियल टू थिंक ऑफ द 5 years एटलीस्ट, और very good companies they think of 10-20 years. Trust me, I have worked with some reputed companies, and Aman was also working with such reputed companies. So basically, they have the idea for next 10 years, 20 years, what they'll be doing down the line. So those are the things. This basis which they gives the growth percentage. Accordingly, वो 100 का 105 होगा, 105 से फिर grow के कहाँ होगा? Those numbers are given by them. Correct. Then they are saying the projected margins, because you are predicting the sales, then you have to predict the margins. Margins also is something judgmental. Management always wants कि मैं ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा margin दिखाऊं. Reason being, उससे मेरा cash आपका जो recoverable amount होगा, that will be on the higher side. Correct. So margins are also, you can say, if I'm selling a product at 100 rupees, I am expecting 10% margin, but it might happen over 9% or 8%. Being an auditor, that you have to check. You have to check those assumptions whether these are correct or not, or these are reasonable or not. Correct. You can't altogether challenge because you don't have that much insights with you. And then there is another thing. We'll see what an auditor do, as Kushi asked. So the projected margin thing is something, again, is a significant judgment which involves inherent uncertainty, which is having inherent uncertainty, because you don't know everything you are assuming. That means there is some inherent uncertainty which can't be separated. Basically, you can't separate these two things. This is inherited. This will be always be there. जहाँ पे impairment का बात होगा, there will be risk associated with these things. Correct. Since they are based on the future projects, prospects and economic outlook, because you are talking about the future things, basis which you are talking about, accordingly इनमें आपका uncertainty बहुत भर भर के होता है. ठीक है. Moving further, due to the materiality of the above assets, according to the auditor, this is material. The composition of this asset is very material in the context of the standalone financial statement, and the sensitivity of the discount rate. So as projected margins का meaning explain करना. Projected margin का spelling meaning ये है basically कि say for example मैं अपना sales तो हर कंपनी एक्सपेंसेस भी एकदम प्रिसाइजली प्रोजेक्ट नहीं कर सकता. कंपनी को पता होता है कि मेरा अगर 100 रुपए का सेल करना होता है मेरे को, तो मेरे को उसके लिए 80 रुपए का खर्चा करना पड़ता है. दैट मीन्स आई एम हैविंग 20% मार्जिन. ठीक है. अब वो फ्यूचर में 20% रहेगा, 15% रहेगा, दैट आई हैव टू प्रोजेक्ट. दैट इज व्हाट प्रोजेक्टेड मार्जिन इज. ठीक है. फ्यूचर का प्रोजेक्शंस को मेरे को कंप्यूट करना है कि मैं 10% मार्जिन रहेगा, 20% मार्जिन रहेगा, कितना मार्जिन रहेगा, दैट आई हैव टू प्रेडिक्ट. ओके. ड्यू टू द मटेरियलिटी, ऑडिटर ने डिसाइड किया दैट वील शो इट टू. ठीक है. Then they have performed sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis is what? Anyone aware of this term or heard of this term earlier?
सेंसिटिविटी मतलब ये ना, डिस्काउंट रेट अगर +1% चेंज होता है, -1% चेंज होता है, तो
So what they do is वो tweaking करते हैं. They say अगर आपने 9% लिया, अगर ये 10% डिस्काउंटिंग रेट होता, so what would have been the amount? और 9% की जगह 8% होता, या any प्लस माइनस परसेंटेज. सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस इज समथिंग, किसी एक एलिमेंट को आप हल्का सा चेंज कीजिए, उससे क्या इंपैक्ट होगा आपका कैलकुलेशन पे, दैट इज वाज द सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस. सो दे आर सेइंग अगर मैं डिस्काउंटिंग रेट को चेंज करता तो उसका क्या सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस होता, वो कंपनी ने फैक्टर इन करा है. अगर बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस आएगा, देन आपको बहुत इन डेप्थ जाना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू आस्क द मैनेजमेंट कि इसको जस्टिफाई करके दो. करेक्ट. अगर मेरा 10 से 9 पे आने पे बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट मूवमेंट हो गया रिकवरेबल अमाउंट में, being an auditor, I won't be getting comfort. I'll be asking कि मेरे को precise दो. वो 9 की जगह 9.5 लो, 9.75 लो. Those are the things. So that is what you have to check, Kushi, in auditing basically. Then long-term revenue growth and rate. So all these things basically you have to assess the reasonableness of it. Now they have talked about the issue क्या है इसमें. So CAM का structure क्या रहता है? They tell the area. They tell the area, उस area में issue क्या है, risk क्या है. Risk they have talked about, correct. Now they'll be telling कि हमने कैसे mitigate किया being an auditor. So Kushi, this para will answer your questions and almost everyone's question. Okay. So they say our audit practices, how we address the matter in our audit. Okay. First, they are saying understanding the process followed by the company in respect of annual impairment analysis. So they are understanding the concept of the management as to how management assess this thing. Okay. So the management prepares some financial, some projections and all those things. First, they are understanding. Being an auditor, always understand from the client their point of view, collect the data from their end. Correct. Then evaluating the design and implementation and testing operating effectiveness of the key controls related to the company's process relating to view of the impairment analysis. So ऐसा तो नहीं कंपनी कुछ भी डिस्काउंटिंग रेट ले रही है. इज देयर एनी कंट्रोल टू इट? यस. कंपनी ने अपना पूरा एक पूरा असेसमेंट बनाया है कि हमारा कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल क्या है, हमारा इंक्रीमेंटल रेट ऑफ बोरोइंग क्या है, अदर बोरोइंग रेट्स क्या चल रहे हैं. दे हैव प्रिपेयर्ड एन एनालिसिस बेसिस व्हिच दे आर टेकिंग दिस नंबर. सो दे आर हैविंग इंटरनल कंट्रोल्स ओवर देयर. करेक्ट. 2 पॉइंट्स को कैसे प्रैक्टिकली चेक करेंगे? दिस पॉइंट we'll see. Abhi second point. one second, Khushi. Let me cover this. Then internal control wala. Yes, that's why that's something which I'm really. So internal control is something. जब ऐसा assumptions है, from where those numbers are coming. Okay, जब projections भी बन रहा है उस पर internal controls थे कि नहीं थे, मतलब basically आपके जो controls होने चाहिए थे projections के लिए कि मेरा जो projected, हर कंपनी अपना एक मैनेजमेंट का प्रोजेक्शन बना के चलती है, और जो प्रोजेक्शन आप इसके लिए ले रहे हो बेसिकली इम्पेयरमेंट टेस्टिंग के लिए, इज देयर एनी मेजर डेविएशन, तो उसके लिए आप एक कंट्रोल रख सकते हो कि दिस वाज द बिजनेस प्लान ऑफ द कंपनी, this is the numbers which they have taken for the impairment, is there any major deviation between these two? This is one of the internal controls. So there are different controls altogether. The discounting rate thing I told, this is the rates, this was the analysis done. So these are the internal controls placed by the company ki discounting rate correct aana chahiye. They have compared their internal rate of borrowing, sorry, incremental rate of borrowing, other borrowing rate, they have computed their WACC, weighted average cost of capital. So after computing all those things, they have come to a precise number. So these are the internal controls in place. Those from where they are taking those numbers, all these things have to basically checked upon. Related to the company's process relating to review of the annual impairment analysis, including controls over determination of discount rate. As I told, कि कैसे determine हो रहा है, WACC ले रहे हैं, other borrowing rate ले रहे हैं, incremental rate of borrowing ले रहे हैं, वो कैसे लिया आपने growth projections कैसे लिए? So they must be having some research, some basis. Basically हर industry का there's an analysis, there's a research which is available in which they talk about कि इस industry का potential कैसा है. Say for example, ई मोबिलिटी का अगर आप देखोगे तो अभी आपको एक रिपोर्ट मिल जाएगा इन विच दे विल बी सेइंग बाय 2030 और 2040 दे आर एक्सपेक्टिंग 20% CAGR, दैट इज कंपाउंडिंग एनुअल ग्रोथ रेट, करेक्ट. सो दोज रिपोर्ट्स आर अवेलेबल, इंडस्ट्री वाइड रिपोर्ट्स रहता है, दैट इज द इंटरनल कंट्रोल्स. ऐसा तो नहीं इंडस्ट्री का रेट ग्रोथ का चल रहा है 10%, कंपनी बोल रहा है हम 20% लेके आएंगे, दोज शुड नॉट बी द केस, correct. So these are the internal controls over this thing. Then projected margins, as Ishant asked, like what exactly it is. Again, the same thing. The margins also. Say for example, there's a very new industry where you are having a monopoly. You have come up with a very good idea where you are having a monopoly. Okay, but once the competitors will come into the picture, your margins will decrease. Okay, so if company is taking huge margin in the future also, obviously you have to question them. So these are the internal controls which you have to check. You have to gain knowledge of the industry as a whole. That is why I'm saying impairment is very judgmental thing. I believe Kushi, this got answered, like your query got answered out about this, how to check the internal controls. Okay. Then, as I told, challenging the reasonableness of the assumptions. Whatever assumptions management have taken, we have to challenge those. We need not to recompute those calculations. We have to challenge. You're taking 9%. No, as per my understanding, it should be 10%, 11%, whatsoever. But you have to establish your facts and figures. You have to have the basis for it. Okay, so you have to basically challenge the reasonableness of the growth rate, the margins, or the rates and all, on based on what? Based on the knowledge of the company and the market. As I told, कि अब e-mobility का 20 years में they are expecting this and that, OPEX case established. That is what I'm saying now. This is written over there that you have to obtain the knowledge of the company, the industry, all those things you have to factor in. And there's a concept of what to say, experts. Correct. There's a standards on auditing also. We'll see. They must have included some experts also from their own teams. We'll see that thing also. Okay. Assessing the historical accuracy by comparing the past forecast to the actual results. आपका जो आप जो फोरकास्ट लेते हो, आपका प्रीवियस अब तो एक्चुअल्स में कन्वर्ट होगा होंगे जो पास्ट का डेटा रहा होगा. सो चेक द डेविएशन बिटवीन दीज टू. ऐसा तो नहीं मैनेजमेंट जो भी कुछ भी ले लेती है assumptions. अगर बहुत माइन्यूट सा वेरिएशन आया होगा, ऑब्वियसली इट मींस मैनेजमेंट के assumptions प्रिसीजन है, उसमें प्रिसीजन है. दोज आर नॉट समथिंग वेरी डेविएटिंग और वेरी मिसलीडिंग, करेक्ट. सो दिस इज द थिंग व्हिच यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. Read these reports. Basically you will be benefited a lot basically after reading this. Now moving further, it is over here. Yeah. Now involving the valuation professional. When you said how to basically collect those data and all, this is how you can do that. Make use of the expert, auditor's expert. Okay, so this is the thing in evaluating the impairment model. So Big Fours, they have their own teams for this. Okay, they have the experts with them. Even other reputed firms also have their experts with them. So basically they reach out to them asking them, could you just please help us with the impairment thing? The management has provided this calculation. What's your view? Because they are the experts, they know the industry analysis, they have all the data. Trust me, Big Fours के पास जब होते हो ना, तो Big Fours के पास almost हर industry का एक से एक प्रिसाइज एकदम रिसोर्स रहता है कि कितना पोटेंशियल है, क्या मार्जिन रहेगा, कौन कौन कॉम्पिटिटर्स आर, दे हैव ऑल द रिपोर्ट्स विद देम. So basis this you can ask the experts to come into the picture. Okay, they'll be basically assisting you in the discount rate, growth rate, on all those things, applying additional sensitivities. So as I told you कि हम 1% ट्वीक करते हैं, अब वो सेंसिटिविटी क्या करेगा, वो बोलेगा सेल्स पे भी अप्लाई करो, मार्जिन पे भी अप्लाई करो, कि मार्जिन आप 10% की जगह 9% ले तो क्या होता. तो all those analysis they'll be helping you in doing that. Testing data to use to develop the estimate for completeness and accuracy. आपका कंप्लीटनेस और एक्यूरेसी है कि नहीं जो डेटा आप ले रहे हैं, वेदर इट इंक्लूड्स ऑल और नॉट. अब आपने इंक्रीमेंटल रेट ऑफ बोरोइंग लिया या WACC लिया, वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, बट आपने उसमें प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स का कैपिटल भूल गए, ठीक है, यू हैव नॉट टेकन, दैट मींस इट इज नॉट कंप्लीटेड. एक्यूरेसी के पर्सपेक्टिव से आपने जो रेट पिक किया, द कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, द डिबेंचर्स रेट विच यू पिक्ड, instead of 10% you took only 6%. Obviously you are lowering your weighted average cost of capital. So the completeness and accuracy aspect also needs to be checked over. कंप्लीटनेस कैसे चेक किया हमने, कि आपने कोई एलिमेंट मिस तो नहीं कर दिया, मतलब आप WACC निकाल रहे थे, वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, आपने प्रेफरेंसेस को लिया ही नहीं, दैट इज वन ऑफ द मिस्टेक्स, आपने कंप्लीटनेस नहीं इंश्योर किया. अब आपने लिया तो था, बट रेट्स ऑफ इंटरेस्ट या रेट्स ऑफ डिविडेंड जो था वो आपने गलत ले लिया, दैट इज समथिंग एक्यूरेसी एस्पेक्ट. ओके, so those needs to be checked upon. Performing a sensitivity analysis to evaluate the impact of the change in the key assumption, मतलब आपने ग्रोथ रेट को अगर हल्का सा चेंज किया तो क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा रिकवरेबल अमाउंट, ऑल दोज एनालिसिस नीड्स टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड. Assessing the adequacy of the company's disclosure in respect of the impairment testing. Okay, so these were the audit procedures which a firm, a reputed firm, even all firms will do this thing only. You will find, just go to some of the financials in which impairment have happened, you'll see these were the steps taken by the auditors, because this is something very standardized thing. Okay, you have to step like this, you have to work upon the impairment thing like this. Anyone having any query on this scam thing? Anyone? Any doubt? Kushi, Ishant, or Ritik? I'm not able to recall everyone's name. Sorry, because these are someone's who are putting their questions again and again.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
great then. So this was the thing. Okay, Ritik is also not having any questions. Great then. Okay, great. Moving further, so we have talked about the camp. Obviously, the will be a close session. Kushi, we also have other commitments. We are also working at some. Basically, we are working at other places also, and we have other commitments also. Because the month end is there, and we have everything we have to look upon. Okay, we'll try to cover all those things in the passage with the passage of time. So. Text का भी रख लो. Over the period we'll do. That is into our mind, but obviously we also need some time. We can't run at this pace. Okay, let's ease it out, because we are learning. We are not someone who are covering the syllabus. We are not here to cover up. Okay. Moving further, there's another page I'll refer, 69 number page of the annual report. So guys, over here they have talked about the indefinite life intangible assets. So they now they have given the examples. One of you asked, like, what is the example? So trademarks, brands. Okay, so say for example, HUL must be having various brands under them. Gillette and all. No, sorry, Gillette is of P&G. Any brand you can think of, Surf Excel and all. I believe Surf Excel relates to them. So those brands and all things are covered basically over here, for which there is no foreseeable limit to the period over which they are expected to generate cash flow, because you don't know वो brand आज भी पैसा कमा के देगा, 10 साल भी देगा, 20 साल भी देगा, 30 साल भी देगा, because brands are there for long terms. That is why they fall under the indefinite useful life category. Okay, so these are considered to have an indefinite life given the strength and durability of the brands and the level of marketing support. एक बार ही बता सकते हो जैसे ट्रेडमार्क्स वगैरह, बस वैल्यूअर पूरा क्वेश्चन आई कांट से. Can you just Kushi, can we park it for a while? Just give me a few minutes. At the end of the session, I'll take it up. Okay, just park it for now. Okay, so this is the thing. So why they are saying कि indefinite में क्यों हुआ? Because they are saying the strength of the brand. Obviously, you think of any brand which is there for 100 years or 50 years or 10, 20 years. So there are brands which establish themselves in a very, very good position, that they keep on doing good things across the years, over the centuries also. So these are the things, that is why they are categorized under the indefinite thing. For indefinite assets, assessment of indefinite life is reviewed annually to determine whether it continues, if not impaired or changed prospectively basis the revised estimate. So basically on annual basis they assess whether the amount is correct or not. Am I expecting the benefit of it or not? अब मैं अपनी बुक्स में ब्रांड लेके बैठा हूँ कि मेरा HUL का ये पर्टिकुलर ब्रांड इज वेरी वेरी गुड, बट एक्चुअल में उससे बिजनेस नहीं जनरेट हो रहा. So I need to basically lower it down, that valuation. Correct? Goodwill, again, goodwill is initially recognized based on the accounting policy for the business combination. As I told, self-generated goodwill is not recognized. Only bought goodwill are recognized. That is what they are saying. कि वो as per the accounting policy हम लोग initially recognize करते हैं, and that is tested impairment for impairment annually. Guys, let's switch to the other link for the part 3 session because it is about to end. So let's move on there, and we'll be discussing this further on. Okay. Please switch to that meeting.